Hey everybody, back with my season 5 wrap up of Once Upon a Time. Oh, season 5. Let's get into it. I know that after birth, I kind of was like, oh God, I don't like what they did, and it kind of soured me on the first half of the season. But I, went back and watched a bit of it, and I actually really liked the first half. Everything that it's just the climax didn't work for me. But like the Camelot stuff, and even like having Zelena involved, and the new characters of Arthur and what came with that. Dark Emma, like finding out 6 weeks later she was gonna be what it looked like she was gonna be, like all that was really exciting, and piecing that all together was fun, and I really liked all of that. It's just when it came down to it, why Emma was who she was 6 weeks later just did not match up to my ideal of what they were going for. But, that's just my personal preference there. I do have actually a lot of ideas of how it could have worked in a really awesome way, but I'll save that for later. I've got some questions about what I would change about season 5, so I'll get into that later. But what they gave me, I really liked with Mr. Gold. Getting to see him not be the Dark One was fun and awesome, and I was so excited about it, and him like really trying to be a hero, and seemingly did when he like defeated the bear, and you're like, oh my God, finally, what I'd been wanting for so long. And when he decided to voluntarily take back that magic, that sucked, man. And it sucked even harder because it happened at the exact moment that Belle was ready to take him back. And that soured me a lot too, because like, how many times you're going to treat Belle this way, show? And you still want us to ship this pairing? Why are you doing this? It's not fair to Belle to want her to be with him, And I did chip it, and I still kind of do, because I think they are going to redeem him eventually. I don't think he's going to be an ultimate villain. I think his redemption is where the show is going to end. But you can't keep regressing like this and expect people just to put up with it over and over again. Like, he needs to be cut off. And Belle kind of did take her own little stance and chose to be asleep, which not the greatest plan. Belle, your dad sucks too, but at least it was something of her own choosing. But Emma being dark because Killian got killed, and then him coming back and then dying again led us to the underworld. Not to mention, Robin died too, and then he got to come back. So, like, Robin and Killian had very similar storylines, but it ended up very differently. Killian got to stay, and Robin's dead, it seems. So, poor Regina. And we got to take some. She is like, I will commend the show on not walking her back in the way they keep walking back Rumple. She's been good for a while, and she's gone through some stuff that you would think could maybe tempt her back, but she's really kept it strong, and I'm so proud of her, even though now we've got the evil queen to contend with. At least it's not her, and I'm happy about that. I don't know if I was actively shipping her and Robin anymore, just because Robin was barely in the show anymore, and they had some kind of issues with their relationship too, but I didn't want him to die because she loved him. Like how much does she have to suffer? I really thought once Henry became the author that things were gonna level out, at least. But we still piled on her, but she held strong, and you know, her relationship with Zelina this year really grew leaps and bounds, and I like Zelina more now. I still think a lot of shit she's done I can't get over, but I give her leeway because Regina does, and I want Regina to be happy, and if she can forgive her sister for stuff, then I'll walk that road too. And it was good to see them being sisters and Zelina not always trying to double cross. That was nice, and it really seems like the baby helped in that regard. You know, it sucks the way she got the baby, but, you know, play the ball where it lies, I guess. And her relationship with Hades was so weird. They had like a fun dynamic though, and Hades was a lot, but he was fun, and there's a lot of stuff I would have done differently in the second half too. And I guess I can talk about that later too, but this season had so much potential. And they just went in ways that I don't think fully had them meet that potential. But I see avenues where it could have happened, and I'm just sad it didn't. Mary Margaret and David really don't get a lot to do anymore, and you know that has a lot to do with the fact that this is her second pregnancy, so she's had to walk back from storylines a couple times, which is fine. But them not being so much in the picture, I think, has really pushed Emma to I mean, she was always the lead character, but even more so now. They used to carry more of a load. But really, it seems like Mr. Gold, Regina, and Emma are like the three leads now, whereas I used to count the Charmings. But you know, they're steady. That's, you know, they're dependable. They're in love. Like, their love is pretty and beautiful and nice. And that's all they need to be, really. Even though I would like more of like spunky Snow, just because she can be badass when she wants to. And David's like loyally by her side always, which is nice. And I mean, they had a decent season. They didn't have to go through a lot of tribulations, and you know, they've got a baby in the show, so it makes sense that they can't be so action packed when they've got a child to look after. So yeah, overall this season, I would put it last for me. I think my order is 3, 4, 1, 2, 5. I think that's my order for seasons. But there, you know, there's enjoyable shit that happened here. Like, mostly the stuff I enjoyed the most were like the tertiary characters, when Ruby came back in Mulan, and even like Merida, when they were a little girl group going on. Like, yes, I'm here for all of that, and we had some good moments with them too. And those are some of the redeeming parts of this season that I'll hold on to as, like, if I, you know, watch the show again. Like, there's some good stuff here, and like I said, this first half actually was pretty good. It's just, it kind of like petered off for me, and then the Hades stuff kind of picked it back up, but like it never got back to the level where I was like, I'm all back in again. But I'm excited about season 6 because I think the direction that they're going in has a lot of potential too. I just hope it lives up to itself in the way that I ultimately think season 5 didn't. But that's just me. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people who like season 5. It's just, this is, you know, just for me. Okay, getting into my favorite episodes of the season was kind of hard. I've got a clear top 3, but 4 and 5 are really, I could move a lot of episodes in either spot and be fine with it. So I'm gonna go with the ones that have my favorite moments. And so for number 5, I'm gonna go with the finale, An Untold Story, just because of how positive it made me feel about what season 6 has in store. The evil queen being right back into it is gonna be interesting, and how they tied that into the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde story. I appreciated that. And, you know, Henry had his big speech about believing, and it is a little cheesy, but it's once upon a time. These are fairy tales. I can go there. I'm okay with it. So it's just I appreciated how it wrapped up the season and made us look toward season 6. So for that, I give it number 5. For number 4, I'm gonna say Ruby Slippers, because oh my god, not only did we have all my gals that I love, but Hello Dorothy and Ruby out of nowhere. I didn't see that coming from a mile away. I thought maybe Ruby and Mulan, which I probably would have preferred more, to be honest. They better not leave Mulan hanging, I swear to God. But they had like a really romantical, beautiful kiss in a Disney show. Like, that's a big deal. And it was handled really well. And their little interactions were adorable. And I just really appreciated them going there. Although justice for Mulan forever. But you know, anytime we get Ruby and Mulan and now Dorothy, like, I'm already going to be all in. And that was just a moment that I will never forget. So, number 4, Ruby Slippers. Okay, now my top 3. These are the big hitters for me of the season. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Bear King, which kind of is a 1-2 off of Ruby Slippers, because it's when Mulan and Ruby really came back into the story, and I was like, yes, I'd been missing them so much, and them being in the same episode. And it really helped me because it was the episode after birth, and I was just really down about what they ended up doing. And I was like, yes, give me more of this. And it was just like a really cool episode. We saw like the whole witch's helmet thing with Merida's dad, and see that Arthur's the one that killed him, the fucker, but that her dad actually was a decent guy, and then Merida getting to take the throne, and that whole witch spell thing. That was all really cool. That I remember that fight scene was so like grandiose, and like I was like, hell yeah, go big for this episode. I was appreciating it completely. But yeah, love that episode. So number 3. Number 2. Now, if I was doing best episodes, I would probably put this at number 1, but these are my favorites. So, number 2 is The Dark Swan. This first episode really set in motion, like, what this season was going to be. And coming off that finale, when we knew that Emma was on the dagger, you're like, holy shit, what does this mean? And, like, to start off, like, knowing now that Merlin is the one who came to little Emma and tell her not to pull the sword out. That really set up everything really well. And just the fact that you got to find out that the dagger came from Excalibur. So fucking cool. I love that so much. And then they did they went to Camelot, but then they flashed to 6 weeks later, and then you see Emma dark, and you're like, oh, shit went down. Really set up the season. Maybe got my hopes a little too high for just how they set that up, but I really appreciated it. You know, you had some like Regina Zelina going at it. That was fun. And seeing Emma starting to deal with like having Rumple as the Dark One in her head, having to see her struggle with this new dark power. Lancelot was in the episode, which, hello, I was so glad they brought him back. Although, forever pissed that they don't ever, like, did he get with Guinevere? What even? Like, they do just drop storylines. What about, like, last season with Maleficent's daughter, Lily? I thought she was going to be in this season. Nothing. They just do that sometimes. yeah, so out of the gate, that episode was amazing, and like I said, it would probably be my favorite of the season, or it would be my best of the season. But this is favorites, and number one is Soul of the Departed, and y'all know why. Y'all know why. Fucking first scene, Neil, amazing. He was warning them about what was to come, being down there in the underworld and warning them, and still forever pissed that you want to tell me that man doesn't have any unfinished business. And if he doesn't have unfinished business with Emma, fine. But he absolutely has unfinished business with Henry and his father. That's all we got. Oh, he could have been in like the majority of the second half. Just down there, and yes, we could have potentially like lost him to the forever world or whatever, but it would have been worth it just to have him in the show. And he just has so many characters that he has a lot of history with. You could have gone there, man, but I'll take it. We got Neil, and I was just so happy to see him. Just a bright spot for me. But you know, it was the episode that we first saw the underworld, and we got to meet Hades, which was like so unexpected. I never thought they were going to pull Hercules characters, but they really did do that. And just seeing who all was down there, like Cruella, the witch from Hansel and Gretel, hello, Pan. That probably got my expectations too high for the second half too, because I was like, you're going to bring Pan back in the fold? You're talking about the best villain of the show? So, like, that was exciting. There, like, Cora, just everyone was down there, and it was just amazing, and, God, and then, of course, Regina got her forgiveness from her father, which was really important, and it was a big deal, and I'm glad they got to do that, and they eventually got it with Cora, too, so, good stuff there. So, that's my top 5. Really 4 or 5. There's some like Sisters was really good, and Only You, like The Price, the second episode was good too. Like there were a bunch that were kind of just and so I just had to pull some with my favorite moments. But 1 through 3 are like definitely my top 3. Okay, let's get into the Q&A portion. Lewis asked, what changes would I make in the first part of the season to make Dark Emma plot much more worth it? And boy, let me tell you, I think a lot of people think that I didn't like it just because I'm not really into Hook, and in particular Hook and Emma's romance. And there was a way to do this that I would have been so here for, and it would have like let Emma go dark a little bit, let her tempt Killian to the darkness that he feels is still inside of him, that he's always worried about. Like, they could have even, like, maybe gone there a little bit. But what Killian has learned and how long he's been being good, he could have pulled her back from that. We could have gotten the exact same place that we ended up. Just make it where Emma's kind of dark a little bit. The first episode, you show that she's like this badass with this slick back hair and this red lip and this black outfit. Pay it off. It's because she was like, she lost her love. Like, that's not fun. Let it be that she just succumbed. Like, I know they don't want to make her a baddie, but like, you can let her flirt with it. Like, that's my whole thing with the show and where they went. And I feel like it's because of them pulling the Charmings back from like the main plot. They were like, and I feel like maybe Emma and, I don't know for sure, but I feel like Emma and Hook were probably a big ship. And so they're like, well, let's focus on this. And in doing that, they like turned them into David and Mary Margaret, which is, we have them. We have that. They even try to do the heart thing. It's like, that's not what made them interesting. That's not what made them cool when they hooked up. Like, they had a heat. And, like, having Emma be dark and having Killian, like, be tempted because of, like a lot of the issue I had with Killian in, like, the early stages of their relationship was that he was only trying to do good because he wanted to be with Emma. So explore that a little bit. Like, make him be like, well, my love is doing this dark stuff. Maybe I could do it too. And he could be tempted by it too. But like, ultimately, what he's learned could have brought them both back from the precipice, or maybe just was able to like bring himself back. And then he like, that could have worked. I don't know the specifics of how it could, but like that totally would have like jived with how the story went, and it would have just been more interesting than, because they had already done the thing with Robin being killed and getting brought back. Like I know they were needing a reason to get to the underworld, but you still could have killed him and like not be the circumstance. Maybe kill him, and that's what brings Emma back from the darkness. And then she's like, no, I can't be this anymore. I gotta go save him. And that could have been the and then in turn have Mr. Gold become the hero he's always wanted to be, and then have that magic gravitate back to him, not him choosing to take it. Oh God, it's so frustrating, so fucking frustrating. But yeah, that's how I feel like they could have played that better. And I'm sure there's other ways too. I just did not like what they did. They just turned, like, the coolest part of Emma, that she's like, she is a badass, and they just made her like all about her romantic story, which is just not interesting to me, or as interesting as what you could have done. But I digress. Okay, next up, Basil Hassan, I'm sorry, but they asked, how would I rank the season so far? It's last, I already did my ranking. You already knew that 5 was at the bottom. Same, you said. But you wanted to know the rest. 3 and 4 are like right there for me, but I think 3, I really like the Neverland stuff. Obviously, Pan is my favorite villain. So 3, 4, 1. 1 is really good. We cannot forget 1 just because it was so long ago. And 2, I remember liking 2. It's just, it doesn't stick out to me as much as the other seasons. But yeah, that's my ranking. They also asked, now that Rumple has the combined power of all the Dark Ones and Belle doesn't really want to be with him anymore, do you think he's capable of changing on his own, or will he continue to be evil? I would like to say that he would finally, but especially because Belle's pregnant, come around. But you see, being the Dark One just changed things. Like, he was able to be brave and try to be your hero, but ultimately still made the wrong choice. But being the Dark One, I don't know how he, right now especially, he's so into having all the power, and I don't even know if losing Belle would be enough. So I'd like to say, yeah, man, it's going to be enough for him to not be evil, but I honestly can't say that because I don't even feel it. Okay, next question is from Liam Flynn. They asked if I could change one thing that I found lacking in season 5, what would it be and why? Well, I've already done the Emma Gold storyline. So let's talk about the second half of the season. I liked it. I like what they did with Hades, but you cannot tell me that Pan was down there all that time and wasn't making moves, making money moves. He would have been in power by the time they get down there. I don't care. Hades may be a demigod or whatever he is. I don't care. Pan would have, he was running shit in Neverland. You're telling me he didn't make a play at all? I don't think so. You know, wait for his son to get down there? Absolutely not. That would have been so cool if Hades was like kind of like the puppet on the strings, that Pan was really in control. And like, they introduced him in the first episode of the Underworld storyline. So I was like, yes, he's the big dog down here. He's got shit going on. But no, it really was just a retread of Mr. Gold getting to kill him again, which was satisfying. I hate Pan. I ultimately don't want good things for him, but he's a great character. He's a great villain. Bring him in more. Come on. Next question is from Miguel. Asked, what old characters did I enjoy seeing this past season? They enjoyed Ruby, Mulan, Neil, and Peter Pan. Agree with all of those. Absolutely agree with all of those. Cruella, I liked her so much because she's... I like how she was with James and David, and just how irreverent she is. And she's just so fabulous, but it's like just truly out of her mind. And how fun is she? Gosh, so fun. What new characters did... Oh, and Lancelot, hello. What new characters did I enjoy? Definitely Merida. Merlin, who died way too soon. I can't believe they killed him just so willy-nilly. And you all know I fucking hate Arthur. But he was fun to hate. Guinevere. I really wanted Lancelot and Guinevere to get their moment. That never happened. And yeah, I mean, you listed just about everyone we saw. And I liked everyone who they brought in. Really, I did. How do I feel about Robin's death? It sucks for Regina. I liked him okay as a character, but I didn't want Regina to have to go through that heartbreak. It sucks. It sucks a lot. And it's interesting how when they killed Hook, I was just like, nah, that's not going to happen. And I was right. And when they killed Robin, I was like, oh God, that seems permanent. And I think that they are going to keep it permanent just because that's what they do to Regina. Sucks. They also asked, if not with Robin, what does Regina's happy ending look like? Does she deserve one? That is a heavy question. And in my estimation, she does. But not everyone is going to feel that way. She's done some things that some people would never forgive. And rightfully so. But, you know, sometimes it takes a level of grace to forgive. And also, I've been on this journey with her, watching her redemption and how much she fights for it. And she has sacrificed herself multiple times. And so I do think she deserves a happy ending. What that looks like, her and Emma raising their son. And hopefully her finding someone if that's what she wants to do. I feel like she's going to be skittish about it just because it, you know, anytime she's happy, it gets ripped away from her. But man, yeah, like whatever it is, I don't care. I just want her to be happy and I'll support whatever that looks like. They also asked what kind of threat I think the evil queen is going to be now that she's separated. That is anyone's guess. The evil queen is evil and I'm excited to see her and what she's going to get up to. Is she going to get in courting with Mr. Gold? Then we got the whole Mr. Hyde thing. She's going to have her paws in everything. And I know she's going to probably be... I would think that she would maybe be tempting Regina to be like her because she knows her so well. But I don't know. Maybe she just wants to kill her. I don't know. But that's certainly going to be interesting. That's the biggest part of season 6 that I'm looking forward to, honestly. And lastly, what do I think Belle and Rumple's future will look like, especially with the child on the way? I don't know. I think the show is going to have them end up together just because of how big of and long this journey has been. And also, like, he's the beast to her Belle. It's just where it's going to go. And it remains to be seen whether or not I'm going to be okay with how they get there in the end. I'm still not there yet. I'm still so upset with how Belle has been treated. So I'm definitely not there yet. But maybe the child will change him. Maybe it'll remind him of what he did, his failings with Bellfire. Maybe. I don't know. He just has to... He has a lot to make up for. And I just don't want them to shortcut that. Belle deserves the world, and he needs to give it to her if that's where they're going with this. So I'm skeptical, but I'm willing to see what happens. Next question is from Malachi. They asked, despite the dislikes that the season brought, what was my favorite moments of the season? One of theirs was Emma resisting the darkness when she went against Nimue. Her acting was spot on. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a great moment. And surprising because she was having to deal so much with the Rumple Dark One being in her head. And, you know, there were times where she slipped with with Henry's girlfriend. Like, that was a moment. And I really thought that was the beginning. But it really was just the only really bad thing that she did. But yeah, that's a great moment. I have to say the Ruby and Dorothy kiss, great moment. Just Mulan showing back up again, an amazing moment. Neil, obviously, Neil showing up. My favorite moment of the season is Neil showing up. Absolutely, without a doubt. There were just several moments with Henry and him, like, starting to chart his own path in life, and the replaying of Only You song. I love that. Like, that's such a great song, and it just fit really well with the story. So yeah, that's a bunch of mine. Next question is from Ryan. Their question is that one of the biggest disappointments of the season for them was that they felt it wasted and discarded Merlin's character. Absolutely. What would you have liked to see them do with his character? How would you have written it if you were the author? Maybe make him the author? He's been around for so long. Maybe he would not be able to, like, not put his own spin on things, and to be the author, you really got to just let things play out. But yeah, there's a lot of wasted stuff there, and like him and Nimue, I feel like was never even completely settled, and he was just like this really huge character that lived for years, and you're just gonna take him out like that? I don't know what they could have done with him, but bring him, like, keep him on. Like, what a character. You could have gone all kinds during time where he had been, and wasted opportunity there too. It would have also been cool to see him, like, adapting to, like, now, like, if he got to go to Storybrooke and just being in, like, the real world, and maybe he could have gotten a new love interest and, like, seen not everybody's like Nimue. That could have been cool. Ooh, maybe him and Belle. Something interesting like that. They could have thrown something in there. But they love bringing in characters just to toss them away and in service of their main characters. And you ain't got to do that, show. You don't have to do it that way. Next question is from Steven. They asked, what was the most emotional or heartfelt scenes for me this season? For them, it was the father-daughter scenes, particularly with Merida and her dad and Regina and her dad. I can very much see that, yeah. Also for me, I would say Regina losing Robin, really bad. There were a lot of the ones that got to move on that were supposed to be like the bigger moments, but they didn't really connect with me just because most of them I was like, they shouldn't get to move on just so quickly. But I'm really glad that Regina got to be that, have that moment with her dad, because that really was a huge regret of hers, obviously. So I'm glad that happened. And I liked Merida and her dad too, and her dad seemed really sweet. So they got to have that too, and that's really nice. Obviously, it was really emotional for me to see Neil. God, it just brought back just all my feelings of love for him, and God, I just love his character so much. There was a lot of good stuff with Henry and his girlfriend, which is so sweet, and then him with his moms. I always love those kind of moments. And I gotta say, like, this, it's not like a big moment. It was just like when Regina was like talking about her despair, about feeling like she's never gonna do anything but suffer. Those really got to me. I was like, I don't want her to feel that way. But anything with Regina really gets me, because I just love her so much, and I just want good things for her. They also asked, were the writers a little too harsh on Mila? I know she wasn't the most noble person, but do you really think she deserved a dark fate that extreme? Certainly Annie M didn't. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Mila was not the greatest at all, but like worse characters than her got to move on. So yeah, she was a little, she did get, you know, just pushed in the river. So ouch on that. Like, she was a shitty mom. Like, how did you not take care of Bellfire? Neil, come on. But yeah, you know, that's how they do their characters that are not the main ones. They don't always have endings in the way you think they're gonna go. But yeah, it was a little harsh. Lastly, they asked, do I think that Ruby and Mulan would have made a better pairing than Ruby and Dorothy? The Moulin Rouge, is that their name? Ship felt more natural to me, whereas Ruby Slipper's ship felt more forced. I agree. I would have way liked Ruby and Mulan more. just because we already know Mulan's backstory and how she was heartbroken in love and it just didn't work out for her. This would have been a perfect opportunity for her to be into someone that's going to be into her. And I mean, Dorothy, cool, like bring her in, but I don't know. It just like, it was easier, like it was right there. Why did they do it? But I don't know why they didn't do it, but you know, they were cute. So I'm fine with the Dorothy and Ruby. But yeah, I definitely think I would have preferred her and Mulan for sure. Okay, and lastly, I've got Stolen Comment. They asked that I don't really seem to ship Captain Swan last season. Do I ship them more now? And no. They're like, I want Emma to be happy, and she seems happy with Hook, so awesome. Be together, get married, have babies, live happily ever after. Fine. But it's just not interesting to me. And like I've talked about some ways where I could have been into it. And I held out hope for a few seasons thinking like, are they going to make this into something? And it just never really happened for me. So I don't think 5 seasons in that it's going to happen. But I don't mind it. They're fine. It's just not a storyline I care about. And I just can't get myself to care about it. Sorry. Next, how good of a villain was Hades to me? Does he come close to Pan? Well, no one comes close to Pan. I think Pan is the best villain that they've had, bar none. But Hades was a good villain. He's so slimy. But like, you know, I do believe that he had feelings for Zelena, but he's a bad dude and he doesn't care about the people that Zelena was caring about, and they did not need to be together. But he was fun. He really was. I appreciated what they did with him. They also said, I couldn't stand Zelena at first. Did that change? It did change. I actively disliked her, but now I'm fine with her. And that's a big deal for me because she killed Neil, okay? So I need a little bit of credit there. But also, I love Regina, and if Regina is going to want to have a good relationship with her sister, I'm going to try to go there with her. So while Zelena's not my favorite, and I didn't completely come all the way around on her in the way I did Regina, I like her a lot more now. She got good one-liners. She's like her sister in that way, and I appreciate her, and I hope to see her grow more with her child, and especially now with Robin out of the picture, her stepping in to help Regina through this. Like, I could see me liking her even more, but I'm always going to be like, you did kill Neil, and you also killed Marion, which I don't appreciate. So that's always going to be a little bit of an issue for me. Next, what character deserved more screen time this season, according to me, and why is it Ruby? It's Ruby. You're right on that. No, I would take more Ruby any. But I would say Belle. She never gets enough storyline. And she deserves it for as much as they put her through, for as much as Rumple puts her through. Anytime they do a focus episode on Belle, it's really good. So they should like realize that and include her more, because Belle is always underserved and undersung. She's just the best. And lastly, what season half do I like the most? And I would probably say the Neverland half, the first half of season 3. It was just so good. I just, you know, never thought that they'd all go somewhere else, or the main ones would go somewhere else, and just so much went down there, and Henry was so involved in the storyline, and I was so into it, and finding out Pan's relationship with Mr. Gold, and that shook me to the core. That was the biggest and best reveal of the entire show for me. So yeah, I would say that. Okay, lastly, let's get into my predictions. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit, coughing. So let's get through this, because I'm going to watch my predictions from last season and see what I got right. And then we'll go with what I think is going to happen in season 6. I'm going to predict that Emma stays the dark one for the whole season. Like, it might get fixed out in the finale, but I don't think it's going to get
halfway
fixed
through the
soon.
season. I should have said halfway.
In the first arc.
I should have known.
So that's pretty bold. But I'm
so no, I got that wrong.
The dark one for a while. My second prediction is I think that the dragon in the Merlin
King Arthur's story is Lily's dad.
Nope.
I think that's pretty obvious.
Nope.
But it hasn't been stated directly.
Not
so,
obvious.
Yeah, that's her dad.
That didn't happen at all. Why did that happen?
There you go. My third prediction are, the Disney characters I think are going to show up, and I'm going to say the same ones because they didn't show up this time.
What did I say?
And we don't have that many seasons left. They better get to these characters. I'm going to take Zazu out because that was never going to happen. But I'm going to say Jasmine,
Nope.
Tiana,
Nope.
and Merida.
Oh!
Come on.
I was calling
My
her
last
Merida
prediction
still.
is I think Zelina
I got one of those.
is not gonna have the baby. I'm gonna say something happens.
Nope.
Maybe she was lying the whole time.
Nope.
Or she loses it. But yeah, I don't think she's gonna have the kid. So yeah, those are my predictions.
Yeah, so I'm bad at that. I'm bad at guessing. I don't know. But let's get into what I think is going to happen in season 6. Number 1, I think Regina's going to have to kill the evil queen. I think it's going to be symbolic, and I think it's going to be a big moment. But I think she's going to have to, like, crush her heart or, like, dagger or something. Really, like, a final nail in that coffin that she is never, ever going to be the evil queen again. Number 2, I think Mr. Gold is going to lose the Dark One power again. I don't think he's going to voluntarily give it up. I think he's going to have to lose it again. And maybe that is the Evil Queen. Oh, if the Evil Queen was a Dark One, that'd be baller. Okay, that's what I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess that the Evil Queen takes the Dark One power from Rumple. Number 3 is when I guess which Disney characters are going to show up. And I got Merida last time, but I'm still going to say Jasmine, hello, and I'm still going to say Tiana, and I'm going to replace Merida with, I'm going to replace him with something from The Lion King. I know that doesn't logistically make sense because it's animals, but I still feel like you can do something. It's The Lion King. It's like the biggest Disney animated movie of all time, or up there at least. Yeah. So, Jasmine, Merida, and who did I say? Oh yeah, Lion King character. Or maybe Esmeralda from Hunchback. Isn't that Disney? If it's not Disney, ignore I said it. And lastly, for number 4, I'm going to say that they finally go back to the Enchanted Forest permanently. Maybe as like a season finale thing. But I think they're going to have to eventually, like, I don't know if Storybrooke is going to be where they all end up. It just seems to make sense that they would end up in the Enchanted Forest. So I'm going to say by the end of the season, that's where they end up. Like, I used to think that earlier in the seasons that was, like, obviously going to happen. Now I'm not so sure, but if it's going to happen, it's going to happen now. So by the end of season 6, I don't know if Storybrooke would get destroyed, but, like, they have to go back to the Enchanted Forest. So there we go. That's my predictions. And that's it. That's my review. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for going on this journey. And it was a journey this season with season 5. And sticking with me because I'm still into the show. I'm still into these characters. I want to see how it plays out. So thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys soon.